All right, welcome back. Let's talk about patriotism and love for country. We're being joined in the program by Mohammed Jamal, is the CEO, Thream Plus Integrated Enterprises Limited, and the founder, Mona Lisa Sports and Recreational Park, Abuja. Mr. Jamal, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I understand you're an Arsenal fan. Is that correct?
It's like Kayode decided not to come today because we lost yesterday, and I thought today we would be consoling each other. Unfortunately, he ditched me.
You know, that's not the question. Are you an Arsenal fan?
A die-hard, loyal Arsenal fan.
Okay, so take heart. We empathize, we sympathize with you, just like we sympathize with Dr. Foy.
Thank you.
I know that somebody had said that if Arsenal had won that match yesterday, in Nigeria, say we'll know the year award by now. But okay, it happens.
Well,
maybe
I would have worn my Arsenal jersey.
All right, Jamal. So let's look a bit. Let's look at background first. Where were you born? Where are you originally? Your love for, we'll come to your love for Nigeria, but just give us a bit of your background so we'll contextualize this properly.
Yeah, so my name is Mohammed Jamal, born and bred in Jos, Plateau State. I'm from Jos North local government, and I'm a third-generation Nigerian.
Okay, so let's walk back that third generation. Where are the grannies from, or great-grand-grannies from?
Originally, my great-grandparents are Lebanese.
Okay, Lebanese. So talk to us about this love for, because sometimes people have said that Nigerians sometimes we look at more of the negative than the positive. Like every other society, there are good, bad, and the ugly. But you've taken it upon yourself to say, look, I love this country. I'll do my best to represent this country. Tell us where the optimism is coming from.
So I think everybody has a role to play in every country, and their patriotism comes from that. So the news already has, you know, that's the job of the news to always post about, you know, things that are happening, and especially in negative. You always see in front of every newspaper, you always see a negative. You'll never see a positive. Maybe once every 3 years or 2 years, you'll see a positive thing. But for me, my own niche is to talk only about positivity, and that's what I do. So whenever there's anything positive happening, that's when I post, that's when I promote it.
So how do you navigate in reality? So for instance now, the economy is biting hard. I know it affects even your own business, individuals, and all of that. How do you walk above this water to talk about this positivity despite the very crunching situation we found ourselves?
So I feel like we have elected leaders, and if, you know, they are there to help in situations like that. So whenever I feel like there's something that is hitting me hard, I am sure 100% that is also hitting them hard. So my hope, or what I try to always tell people is they know what is going on, and I'm sure they are working on it because that's why they were elected. So that's the hope I have. You know, everything has a timeline. Everything, you know, I know issues that I probably had 3 years ago that I probably thought, you know, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me, but I can't remember them now. So it's about learning how to manage yourselves and moving forward in the situation that you're in.
For me, I'm curious about your accent. I know you were born and brought up and bred in Jos. You've said that a lot in your interviews. But you have the parents of different nationalities, I believe, and somehow they may not have lost their accent. So I just want you to talk to us about that. Is your accent, you know, a deliberate, conscious effort because of your love for Nigeria?
So is it the current accent? Have you heard Kayode's accent, for example? The day I met Kayode, like, you know, 2 weeks ago, you know, Kayode had that deep accent, you know, and I'm like, guy, where you go to school, you know, which kind of accent with this one? But it's like his accent is actually just there. But me, it depends on who I'm talking to be honest. I went to an American school in Jos, Hillcrest, and then, you know, went to the UK. But, you know, we grew up speaking Pidgin English, normal way, and also I also speak Hausa. But you'll see, the thing is, My accent, I guess it depends on who I'm talking to. So you guys that have small phoneme, I have to, add the phoneme to it. But in reality, whenever I just meet people, depends. I just put on the accent that I want to. So.
But do you speak Lebanese or your mom's language?
I speak a little bit of Arabic, but I can't read and write. But I'm learning, and I'm putting my kids through to also, learn it, a bit of Arabic. The mother is Colombian, my wife, and so I speak a bit of Hausa, a bit of Arabic, obviously Pidgin English.
All right, so
tiny bit of Spanish as well.
So it's undeniable, despite all of those little languages that you speak, that you are Niger in your DNA. Your skin may just be different. Now, talk to us about those who say white Nigerian. Of course, it's easy for him to be patriotic because he was born with a silver spoon. You went to American Hillcrest School. You went to the UK for your university, and you pretty much had everything, at your disposal, and you got a platform to launch into business that you're into now. So for Nigerians who have got the short end of the stick, particularly young people who are disillusioned, who are saying to you that it's easy for you to be patriotic, what would you say to them?
So my question to them is, how many other people have had those opportunities? How many other people have been given the silver spoon? And what did they do with it? That is a question that they should be asking. You even have people like Davido, who, is promoting Nigeria worldwide. Afrobeats has gone. He was given, probably the same privileges that I was, growing up. And I would go back to someone like Wizkid. Wizkid on his side, he may not have, had those same privileges. So it's about how hard you work. It's about what you use the opportunities that you're given to do. And that's what the focus should be on, not whether you were born with a silver spoon or we don't post, the struggles that we go through. We only post on social media, the good things that are happening in our lives. And that goes for everybody. So my struggle might be different from someone else's struggle. But as they say, everybody has their own struggle. It's just different way.
Yeah, it rallies around the economic conversation for most times. So, in fact, Davido is still struggling.
Go back into
Davido is still struggling in that sense. In fact, I saw a video of a skit maker when the person gave him a flower and said, "Take your flower." I said, "Thank you," because they really don't give me flowers. Because in the business where I'm in, talking to Davido now, people like the grass to grace story. Since I came from grace, they feel that my story is fictitious in that sense. So he still has his own struggle. And that's, I'm saying that to come to you to say, when you meet people and you tell them I'm Nigerian, if you go to, say, Zimbabwe and maybe part of Uganda, but especially South Africa, it's common to see a white South African and a black South African in that sense. There's nothing really out of place. But a white Nigerians are still looking at you. So how do they look at you when you say I'm Nigerian?
So let me even clarify where the name came from. I did not give myself the name white Nigerian. The name was given to me when I was in the UK. Because, at uni, when I was there, all the Nigerians will introduce me to each other as, have you met that white Nigerian guy? Have you met that white Nigerian guy? And that's how the name came up. So I did not give myself the name white Nigerian. It was given to me, and that's how, the name started. I think it was AY when he had an event, he called me and, he put my name as Mohammed Jamal, white Nigerian underneath. And that's how the name just stuck to me. And that's how everybody started calling me white Nigerian. So me, whether not white, black, any color, me, Nigerian.
I see that you have a lot of mental strength to face anything. But we're going to come to you all. But I want to show you this picture and how it was for you at the camp when you served in the NYSC. So that's you. You look more like the commander of the NYSC than the NYSC.
I was my platoon commander.
In fact, you looked in that first picture like the younger version of Muammar Gaddafi, pardon me, but you reminded me of him.
Okay. Talk to us about this experience, Jamal. So this is you at the NYSC camp, whether you're commanding or being commanded. Talk to us about that experience. Then I'll come to what you do.
Yeah. So I would like to say that NYSC was one of my best experiences, to be honest. I really, really enjoyed NYSC, both the camp, you know, the people I met, you know, it was really, really nice. NYSC is something that everybody should do. You know, it's really something that, you know, brings that unity, because you meet people from every part of the country in your camp, and that's the lovely thing about it. And you know, people get to learn from each other. You share cultures. There are some people that have never left their city before. So they come to the north from, maybe from Lagos, they come to Abuja. You know, they probably did not know that this is what Abuja looks like. Or somebody from Kano going to Lagos is like, wow, like, you know, I didn't know Lagos like this. Because they've never left. But with NYSC, that gives you the opportunity to move around the country and to actually learn about other people's cultures, you know, and religion, and bringing people together and closer to respect one another, basically. So I really feel like NYSC is really a good thing for promoting Nigeria and people, basically, to engage with one another.
And that position will do a lot, you know, to add flesh to the continued debate about the role of the NYSC in national cohesion. But some may be watching you now and they're thinking, oh, okay, he is a businessman who is a patriotic Nigerian, but they may not recall your creative side. I've seen you in an old music video where you were rapping. You've talked about the comedy side of you in past and some recent interviews. So talk to us about that side of you, and if you'll be exploring it again anytime soon.
Okay, so basically, I really hustled in my life. You know, I don't hustle. So when people say, obviously, as you know, I don't, you know, this guy had a silver spoon and all of that, bro. I don't hustle for this life. You know, I don't do comedy. I don't do music. You know, I don't act film self. You know, there's nothing that I really not done. You know, but my focus was on my business. That's what I went to study in university. So until 2014, I decided, look, entertainment is not for me. I'm married now. I have my first daughter, and let me just close that chapter and focus on my business.
All right, fantastic. So let's talk about your campaign in your love for Nigeria, and in details now. So what exactly, beyond the comments and beyond some of the things you've told us, are you doing to put Nigeria out there to say, okay, it's not all shades of ugly and bad as people want to say or see it to be. There are also this and that or the other. Is there a program to that effect that you're putting out from where you sit?
So with patriotism, it's all about your love for your country and your loyalty to your country, and then also what you give back to your country. So I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, you know, when I had just come back from university, I was like, you know, there's a Unity Fountain right here in Abuja, and you know, we have a fountain that has the names of every single state, you know, of Nigeria. But what we don't have is the flag, the thing that unites us. So it has everything about it. So I even, you know, sent a proposal at that time, you know, requesting for putting up a flag in Unity Fountain. And, you know, at that time, the minister, you know, sent me, I think it was development control. We went there, we inspected. But unfortunately, it didn't get approved. 10 years later, you know, I found an even better location, you know, at our place at Mona Lisa, and right behind it is Aso Rock. So that's where I decided to put up the big Nigerian flag with a big I love Nigeria, so that when people come to Abuja, anytime you visit Nigeria, you know, you would want to come here to take a picture and just always remind you for the love you have for your country. And even for foreigners, when they come here, they're looking for where to take a picture. And you know, that will remind them of Nigeria.
That's very, very laudable and inspiring. But there are concerns that, I don't want to say work against your campaign, but they're very real as far as your campaign is concerned. And that is the conduct of some Nigerians, not all Nigerians now, must emphasize that, some Nigerians abroad. Either it's crime or trafficking or, you know, all the others in that mix. And in fact, in recent times, the UK is planning a visa crackdown on Nigerians and some other countries over overstay concerns. So how do you see this, first of all? And, you know, what's your message to Nigerians, particularly those who are very, very committed to the Japa syndrome and are just waiting, you know, for that 10 million target, you know, to leave the country?
So I'll tell you, I was part of, you know, people affected by the Japa syndrome. My best staff, 10 of them also, you know, Japa'd in, I think, 2021. And I had to literally start from scratch. However, I've had, you know, been employing, you know, people, and I've been able to, you know, get some great, amazing people. And a lot have been done, you know, since they left. But it really affected me at that time. And I would say it's not greener on, the grass is not greener on the other side, you know. They also still have their struggles, because I keep in touch with them. You know, they have their struggles. I lived in London. I know what it's like living abroad. It's not, you know, greener on the other side as people always think, you know. In Nigeria, when you come back, if you really put in the same hard work you put in when you go abroad, the way that they go and work, you know, 12 hours, sometimes, you know, 16, 18 hours just to survive abroad, you put in that same hard work here in Nigeria, you will make it. You will even do better than you'll be doing abroad. But there is just that Japa syndrome that people just want to feel like they are abroad. But look, Nigeria is a much better place to be if you're going to put in the same hard work that you're going to decide to do abroad.
That's instructive. The argument sometimes used to be, so we have people abroad as well. We know a lot of people, either family members, friends, colleagues, and all of that. The counter argument sometimes used to be that the basics are sorted in that sense. All you need is your hard work to be able to get above the water. But right here, you have a lot of the basics that you're still providing: security, water, you know, literally anything that should be provided. You literally are your own government in that sense. So they feel that it's a burden in that sense. So they put in 12, 13 hours, but just to earn, not that they are looking for water, they are looking for electricity and all of that. But we must thank you so much for being a great representation of the country, Nigeria. But in closing, tell us about what you have up your sleeve, maybe in 2025 in that sense, to further promote Nigeria even at a higher scale.
So, you know, it's not really a campaign that I'm doing. It's just who I am, you know. You mentioned campaign a few times. There's no really agenda for me. It's just who I am and, you know, what I do. And I feel like, you know, for people out there, you know, whatever it is that Nigeria is going through, for example, even Arsenal, you know, will always still be diehard Arsenal fans, will always still be diehard Nigerian fans. There are people out there that, you know, are trying to do the right thing to make lives better for Nigerians. And I feel at the end of the day, you know, no matter how long it takes, it will eventually come. And Nigeria is such a prosperous country, it has so much potential that we will eventually get there. How long it will take, I don't know. I feel like Nigeria needs a map, not really a map, but Nigeria needs, what do you call that thing that they, it skipped my mind. But you know, before you build anything, you literally have to, okay, master plan. Yeah. So you need to have a master plan. We need to have a master plan for Nigeria that will take this country forward in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. Where do we want to be in the next 50 years? So that, you know, the citizens can look at that and say, okay, yes, the leaders are doing good in this, and we're promoting what we said we're going to promote and what we're trying to do. But I think Nigeria needs a full master plan, you know, to tell us how and where we want to go. You need a direction, you need a focus, and I feel like, you know, that our leaders should look into that.
Fantastic. We hope the government is listening, and the government now is all of us, so be able to put out that lovely master plan. Almost. Thank you so much. And again, I know that Arsenal, I don't know any set of fans that are more loyal than Arsenal. I ran away from Arsenal almost 20 years ago, and I think I'm happy I did. So, Jamal,
you're not a loyal man.
No, I ran away. I ran away from Arsenal. Mohammed Jamal, CEO, 3 Plus.
Thank you so much.
Integrated Services, founder, Mona Lisa Sports and Recreational Park, Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us from our Abuja studios.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will switch gears to the arts, as well as some of the things you're saying, whether via email, whether WhatsApp, or even an X. We'll bring you up to speed with your thoughts as well. Join us again in just a moment.